Perfect. Welcome everybody to our session with Mo. Come on in, join us. I'm going to pass over to Mo in a minute. So I just thought I'd talk through this slide that we've got here with just some of the things to set you up for the day. So today's webinar is scheduled to last 1 hour, including a Q&A. So we'll be having questions at the end. So please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. I'll be looking at those and I'll be back on at the end of the webinar, and then we'll go through all those lovely questions that you have. If you want to use the closed captions, you can use those. Click the CC button and they will turn those on. We also have British Sign Language interpretation today. So if you'd like to use that, just you should be able to see our interpreters on the side. This webinar is being recorded and it will be available for you on our website alongside our additional resources within 7 days. We're usually a bit quicker than that as well, so hopefully we'll get to you much sooner. So please say hello in the chat. If you select everyone from the drop down, everybody can see it. And please use our reaction buttons as well. So you might be able to see those at the bottom. There we go, got a hand clap, brilliant. Nice, thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to pass you over to Mo now for this great session on digital advertising.
Hi everyone, thank you James. So yeah, welcome to this webinar. Like James has said, you're all welcome here, and it's great to have you all here. We've got a great number of people here as well, and use the chat, let everyone know that you're here. Just a quick intro to myself. My name is Mohammed Momin. I'm a brown skinned man, buzz cut with a beard, grey hoodie, and I've got a blur background at the moment. So yeah, I'm one of the tech champions based in Newcastle, and I specialize in search engine marketing, search engine optimization, also sort of digital marketing. So it's great to have you all here. Let's get started. So the webinar topic is choosing a paid advertising platform, a Google, Meta, and TikTok ads overview. So we have a lot of demand when it comes to digital marketing, and it's something that whenever I've been doing cases with you guys, something that comes up quite a lot, where people want to advertise, they want to look at paid advertising, but they aren't quite sure where to get started. Or someone will come to me and ask about Meta ads, Facebook, Instagram, but it might not be the right thing for them. So this webinar is designed for everyone to be able to know what advertise to start off with. And then from there, you guys can start off and book cases with us, or go on yourself and have the right platform to start off with. So just starting off with some objectives, just to make sure that we're all clear on what I aim to sort of present to you today, and hopefully what you guys can learn. So to understand whether paid advertising is for you, it's not for everyone. So it's important that everyone knows whether it is the right thing for them to be doing. I will be going through some alternatives that you can look at if paid advertising isn't for you, but it's something that it's a very important question. It might be for you, but it might not be at this moment in time. Okay, and understanding the main paid advertising platforms that are available to everyone. All right, and to be able to decide which platform might be the best to start off with for your organization. So just a quick plan for the webinar ahead. We're going to be looking at is paid advertising for you, looking at about spending about 10 minutes on that. The different platforms will spend about 15 minutes on, and which one is right for you as well. Okay, this webinar is sort of aimed at the beginner, so it's suitable for all levels really. Okay. So is paid advertising for you, for cultural and creative organizations and individuals? Let's get started. So some questions to ask yourself. This is something that you should do before starting anything. You need to ask yourself some questions. And what I'd ask is, why do you want to start paid advertising? How much time or money could you set aside? At the end of the day, it is paid advertising, and you're going to have to set something aside. And just with anything in general, I know as arts and culture organizations, we see it all the time. We are sort of limited to budget, and we are limited to time. So it can be difficult, but it's important to understand that very rarely in life you get something from nothing. All right, so we need to either look at time or money. So how much time or money could you set aside? And then, do you want to do it yourself or hire someone else to do it? Because those are two very different things as well. So just have those in the back of the mind. If anyone's got any sort of responses or thoughts they want to share in the chat, you're welcome to as well. So the question that I really want to focus on right now is, what is more available to your organization? Budget or time, right? Now, these are two huge things which determine what pathway we should go down. So budget is a huge thing. If you've got a huge budget, obviously there's different things that you can do with that budget, and paid advertising is one of those things, right? And then if you've got more time available, then there's other things that you can do as well. And ultimately, we really want to be looking at what is more available to your organization. So right now, you might have a huge budget waiting to get spent. All right. So you might have more budget than time available, than people that can actually work on things. But some organizations might not have that much budget available, but you've got multiple people that are willing to do things and work on certain aspects of the organization. So it's very important to know which is more available. All right. So let's have a quick look. More time than budget. If you've got more time than budget, this is typical of what we're looking at. So you've got 10 to 20 hours weekly that you can spend on doing some sort of marketing, some sort of advertising. So you might have multiple staff members, or you might even have a dedicated marketing team. Okay, then what we can look at is if you've got more budget compared to time. So you might have in the near future 500 to £1,000 to spend. You might need to hire someone to run ads and you've got the funding for it, or you might have received a large funding or grant recently. Okay, so it's very important to categorize yourself in these two sections and understand which you have more available. Okay, and then we can look at the most sort of effective way for you to utilize that time that you have, or that budget that you have. Okay, because at the end of the day, they're both resources. Time is a resource and budget is a resource as well. Okay, and it's just about allocating those two resources in the right way, which is going to yield the highest results, right? So a quick little poll, right? Hopefully those concepts have made sense. What I want to know is, what is more available to your organization? Is it budget or is it time? So I'm just going to run a quick poll, right? And everyone should be able to answer that question. Okay. So if everyone can just let us know what's more available. Is it money compared to time? I know sometimes we can be sort of limited on both, but just comparatively, if we're looking at relatively, what is more available? Is it time or budget? All right, so we've got approximately 3/4 that have answered. We'll just give it another 30, 40 seconds or so. Right, we've got about 90% of you that have answered, so just going to end the poll here and we can have a look at the results. So what we've got right now is we've got approximately a third of you that have more money available and approximately 2/3 that have more time available. Okay, so both of those things are absolutely fine, and both of those things you can get great results with both, right? But it's important to understand which is going to be more valuable at the moment. All right, so if you've got more time available, there are things that you want to be doing with that time to start off with, and then maybe move on to generating some sort of revenue that you'll have more money to work with in the future. So what can you do? If you've got more time than budget, these are the two categories we've got. So more time than budget, what are you going to be looking at? So this is roughly 2/3 of you. So you want to be looking at things like search engine optimization, right? You want to be looking at things like local search engine optimization and email marketing, telemarketing, and social media marketing. So let's go through very quickly what those things are for people that aren't quite sure. So search engine optimization is making sure that your website is available to Google. When people search for certain search terms, you should be showing up for what your organization stands for. All right, and search engine optimization is one of those things which is very it's time consuming, right? But it doesn't have to cost anything at all, right? So if you've got people or you've got time within your organization, search engine optimization is a great way to get started with marketing and advertising, getting yourself found on Google and getting leads that way. All right. And it's one of those things, long-term search engine optimization is great because it builds up the overall brand of your business. And with paid advertising, it's something where it turns off. Search engine optimization doesn't turn off. You're building on what your business is or what your organization is, and you're going to have that snowball effect if you're consistent with it. Local search engine optimization is very similar, and you utilize something that used to be called your Google business profile, or Google My Business. And that's getting found on Google Maps, and it works very well in the local sort of setting within your local area. Okay. Email marketing sort of explains itself, where you're emailing an email list that you might have, or potential customers or leads that you've worked on in the past, or you might have collated together, right? Telemarketing is very similar to email marketing, and then you've got social media marketing as well. So these are all things that don't have to, don't require you to have to spend money to start off with. You can start off with your time, and what's important right now is utilizing what we've got to the maximum ability that we all have. All right. So if we've got more time than budget, these might be things that we want to look at. Okay. But if we've got more budget than time, right, this is when we look at paid advertising, right? And this is when we can look at TikTok ads. We can look at Meta ads, right? Meta is Facebook and Instagram, right? Google pay-per-click. So Google ads essentially, and YouTube ads, right? So whichever category you come in, both are absolutely fine and both yield some really good results. And in my sort of experience, I would never recommend anyone, if they've got more budget than time, to just be doing ads. I would still say you want to be looking at search engine optimization. You want to be looking at email marketing, telemarketing, social media marketing, building up those organic views that come naturally to your social media. So all of those things are important, right? But it's about, because we have limited time and we have limited budget, what is that first thing that we should really be focusing on? So hopefully that sort of cleared a couple of things for everyone here. So just wanted to highlight one of our tech champions, Nicola, who's great at social media, right? And it's something where after this call, after this webinar, if anyone is wanting to book in a case regarding social media, whether it's ads, whether it's actually just building up your social media campaign, you're welcome to come to Nicola, you're welcome to come to me or any of the other tech champions if you've got any cases that you want to be booking. But Nicola is our sort of resident social media expert, right? And here we've got some of the other tech champions, which are sort of relevant to this webinar. We've got tons of others, and but if I went through all of them, it would take ages. So these are the ones that are most relevant to this webinar. All right, so we've got Dean, who's great at digital content creation that you might want to use for social media or your ads campaigns. We've got Ollie, who's more digital marketing and strategy. So if you're not quite sure where you need to start, then Ollie's your guy to go to. Got Nicola that I mentioned. Jacqueline's great at email marketing. Jack, audience data and collection. And then Monica, search engine optimization. All right, so you're welcome after this call, and I'll explain in greater detail how you can book in a case with all of us. But what's important to remember is, and it's a quote from my co-host on this webinar, James, it's unlimited, completely free, and tailored to you. All right, so I know it sounds a bit too good to be true, and that's what I thought as well once I sort of joined the organization as a tech champion, but it is genuinely unlimited, completely free, and tailored to you, right? So any of these things that I've spoken about in the webinar, any of these domains, whether it's TikTok ads, Meta ads, Google ads, search engine optimization, book in a case with us, completely free, and it'll be tailored to you. So a quick shout out to our Knowledge Hub as well. Sometimes you might not be ready to book a case, but you might want to just have a look at what's on offer, or you might want quick guides. The Knowledge Hub is great. We've got tons of articles on there. All the tech champions write articles on there with what they think is going to solve the most problems for most people. So we've got tons of tips on there. It's always growing, so there's always things coming on there, and it's great for introduction. So definitely check the Knowledge Hub out. We've got a link to that there. I believe James is going to put a link in the chat as well. Okay, so back to the webinar now after that quick little sort of self-advertisement, but let's get back to the webinar. With sort of paid advertising, let's look at the pros, right? So the pros with paid advertising is not always, but you can get quicker results, right? It can yield quicker results. It can be something where you can look at a 1 to 2 week time frame of you getting some sort of results or some sort of customers or some sort of leads if you set up things correctly. You can control your customer inflow and outflow. So you might be busier during Christmas. So you might want more customers during Christmas, so you can allocate more ad spend, or you can put more money towards your ads during the Christmas period. But then you might have less resources available during a certain time of year, so you might want to decrease ad spend. So the pros of paid advertising is it's a bit like a tap. You can turn it on and you can turn it off. All right. It allows retargeting. So retargeting is a concept where if you've ever had ads follow you around, that's what it is essentially. When a customer is followed with an ad, or you target someone who's already seen your ad. Very rarely do people see an ad for the first time or see your organization for the first time and straight away decide that they want to buy something, or they want to visit you, or they want to get in touch. Sometimes you do need to get in touch with them multiple times, and paid advertising does allow for you to retarget that consumer. And it allows customer tracking as well, so you're able to get some good analytics on who's seen your website, who's seen your ads, and things like that. So you're getting some great insight on who's actually clicking and who's actually viewing your ads, right? Also, it's scalable at a larger rate. When we're talking scaling something up, we're talking about increasing our ad spend. We're talking about increasing the amount of people that we're bringing in. With paid advertising, if done right, you can just increase your budget. And as you increase your budget, the amount of customers that you bring in should increase as well, right? And the main thing there is should, because as you scale, there are difficulties that come into paid advertising, and you do need to look at what you're doing. It's not as simple as spending £5 one day and spending £200 the next day. That's not how it works. And like I said, you get some great analytics where you're able to see how much people are interested in something, all right, or how many people are clicking on a certain type of ad, and really get to know what works with your audience in sort of real-ish time, all right. And cons as well. So obviously there's cons, right? It takes time, effort, and money, right? And it can be expensive as well. It doesn't work straight away, right? It's not, you've got a high chance of it not being successful straight away if you don't know what you're doing, all right? And you don't want to just be wasting money, because look, we're all wanting to get the most out of every pound that we've got. And sometimes with paid advertising, if we're not completely sure, we haven't actually taken the time to assess whether it's the right thing for us, or we've got the right sort of capabilities, sometimes it can be difficult. That's not to put anyone off. We can learn that, and you're welcome to book in cases with us. We're happy to guide everyone that's attending this webinar on how to actually start off a paid advertising campaign well, right? But it's one of those things that you don't want to just jump into it without knowing how to do anything. So there's plenty of resources online, on the Knowledge Hub, on YouTube in general, and there's plenty of places that you can learn from. But it's one of those things where with paid advertising, because you're going to be losing money right off the bat if you don't know what you're doing, I would recommend putting in some time and research before anyone starts. You've got loads of jargon. and sometimes it can be complicated to get your head around straight away. So you've got cost per click, CPM, CTR, frequency. So all of those things can be a little bit confusing. All right, and I'm not going to go into all of those things within this webinar because it's going to get a little bit complicated. But you're welcome to check out the Knowledge Hub. You're welcome to book in a case with any of us, like I said before, and we can explain these things to you in a lot more detail and explain to you how you can actually run these ads, right? This webinar is just for you to decide whether if paid advertising is for you, and if it is, which platforms you should be looking at. And it can be complicated. Okay, so let's look at the different platforms very quickly, and let's see what's available to us. So we've got Google Ads, right? And YouTube ads. So YouTube ads come under Google Ads, right? They use the same platform essentially as Google owns YouTube. You use the same platform to run the ads, right? You use the same sort of Google Ads Manager to be running those ads, right? So you've got Google Ads and you've got YouTube ads. You've got TikTok, you've got Meta, and Meta is Facebook and Instagram, right? So Facebook owns Instagram and they've rebranded as Meta a couple of years ago, right? So Meta is great as well. So let's have a look at some examples now of what those ads would look like for arts and cultural organizations and individuals. But before that, I just want to clarify very quickly the difference between PPC and digital marketing, right? So these platforms that we've got here, we can have them split up into two categories, right? And those are pay-per-click and digital marketing, right? So with pay-per-click, it takes customers to your website and you're going to pay per click, right? And the cost depends on your keyword. So you might know that you want to target a customer that wants to see an art gallery, right? And you'll put an advert out for the keyword art gallery, which will show up on Google. I'll show you an example of what this will look like in a second, but you'll pay when someone clicks the ad, right? So that's pay-per-click marketing. And a good example of that is Google Ads, right? Google Ads is a perfect example of what pay-per-click marketing is. You don't spend money unless someone is actually clicking on your ad and getting onto your website, all right? Then you've got digital marketing, right? And what they have is they have a set price per 1,000 views of your ad on platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, right? And this is regardless of getting clicks. So you can spend money without anyone clicking on your ads with normal aspects of digital paid marketing like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. All right. So we've got Google Ads, which we would class as pay per click. And then we've got digital marketing, which will be sort of Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay, so here's an example of what Google Ads will look like, right? And this will be a simple search term such as art gallery. So one of your consumers might have typed in art gallery and you want to show up, and you can see here we've got Eden Gallery London, we've got Camden Art Centre, we've got Modern Art Oxford. So these will pop up straight away. And what's important to remember is with Google Ads, you're getting customers that are actively looking for your services, right? They know that they want to come to an art gallery. They know that they might want to see an exhibition, right? So it's a little bit easier to target them and sometimes get a sale out of someone like that if it's a service that they know they're actively looking for, right? So with Google Ads, these organizations, they'll have put these ads out, and when anyone searches art gallery, it's about making sure that you're the most relevant to them. You've got the right headline, you've got the right description, and you're going to pop up first on the search engine results page. All right. So it's a quick way of getting to the top, and it's a quick way of making sure that that consumers that are looking for you are actually seeing you as well. All right. So with Google, it's all about choosing the right keyword. You choose keywords that people are searching, and you display your ads for those keywords. Okay. So one of the great things with Google Ads, right, is Google Ad grants. So you must have a charity number, right? But they give you free ad credit. Okay, and the ad credit is $10,000 a month, I believe, right? And this is crazy good because you get free money, you get to try out what Google Ads is, right? There are some caveats to it. There are some restrictions on certain keywords. There are restrictions on certain features that you can access. But if you're wanting to run paid advertising, or even for the 2/3 of us that said that they've got more time than budget, this is a great way of you having both, where if you can apply for an ad grant, if you've got a charity number, then you can get that ad credit to be able to use in Google Ads to start off with, right? And we've got Monica on our team, who I mentioned before, and she is great at getting people set up with Google Ad grants. So if anyone is interested with Google Ad grants, please reach out to her, reach out to the DC, and we'll get you in touch with Monica, and you can book a case with her where she'll help to see if you're eligible and help you apply as well to Google Ad grants, right? But it's a huge amount of money that you're leaving on the table if you've got a charity number and you're not claiming the free ad credit. So, like I said, there are restrictions with it, there are some limitations with it, but it's something where if you're not utilizing it as a registered charity, then you're really missing out. So I would really recommend having a look into it yourself, or reaching out to Monica on the team and availing that free ad credit. So let's look at Meta now. So Meta is Facebook and Instagram. So the great thing about Meta's platform is that through the same ads manager, you can advertise on both Facebook and Instagram, right? And if you want to choose between the two, it's a simple tick box. Yeah, it's a simple tick box. So you can untick Instagram and you can untick Facebook, or different platforms that they manage, right? So these are the sort of ads that you'll see on Facebook and Instagram, where we've got something called a carousel, where you've got multiple pictures, you've got multiple call to actions. So book now, we've got sign up on this ad, and you can see we've got Twist Museum with their copy as well, with the text that they have above their ad. We call that copy, right? And you can see they're all sort of targeting different people through these copies. And with Meta, it's extremely important that we have those scroll stopping lines, because you've got to think about when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, right? What are you looking at first? What ads actually make you stop, right? And the ads that'll make you stop, it'll be a combination of that first line saying something interesting and targeting something specific to you, or they'll have a very sort of standout creative, right? And what we mean by creative is the image or video that is shown to you, right? So those things are extremely important when it comes to Meta advertising. And something else to remember with sort of digital marketing in terms of Meta, TikTok, Facebook and Instagram essentially, is that your customer isn't aware that they want your service, right? Whereas when we said with Google, people are actively searching for your service, they're actively searching for your offer. When it comes to Meta, they're not. When it comes to Facebook, Instagram, they're not. When it comes to TikTok, they're not actively looking for your service. You have to make them aware of a problem that they might have that you can provide a solution for, right? Or you can really grab their attention with something that you have to offer. Okay, and that's what all these adverts will be trying to do. So the next one, let's look at some TikTok ads essentially. So with TikTok ads, we've got Natural History Museum here, and we've got Twist Museum. And what you'll notice is with TikTok, you're looking at user-generated content, right? Content that doesn't look like it's hugely made by professionals, right? And you can see that here with the Natural History Museum. It just looks like a normal video that someone's taken on their iPhone, and they've just got a caption on it there, right? And these sort of videos work very well with with TikTok, right? And they'll be doing very well for the Natural History Museum. And we also had a look at sort of Twist Museum here, and with the Twist Museum, this sort of ad will work really well just because it's very dynamic, right? It gets to the point and it's visually very appealing. So it's important to note the differences between the platforms. With something like TikTok, it's very important to either look like it's user-generated content, right? So very simple content that you wouldn't be able to tell whether a professional's made it or they haven't. It shouldn't look like an ad, right? Or something which is very dynamic and very visually appealing. Okay, so that's what sort of TikTok ads look like, and hopefully you've got a good idea of what those examples are. So a quick plug for Dean, right, who's our digital content creation expert. And he really helps people out when it comes to video creation and how to actually create content which is visually appealing, which does get the job done. So definitely, if you are looking at any of these platforms, have a look at booking in a call with Dean as well, where he'll be able to really guide you on how to create content in the best ways for whatever platform. So he's really talented with it, and he is going on tour around the country at the moment as well. So he's a great tech champion to reach out to. So we went through all of that now, and I think it's important to actually look at which of those platforms are for you, right? So I wanted to actually go through and compare the platforms with different sort of aspects of why you would look at them, right? So audience is a huge thing. What audiences do those platforms actually cater towards, right? And is that audience the consumer that you're going after, right? Because if you're going after the wrong audience on the wrong platform, then that platform won't work for you. So it's crucial that we get that right audience through the right platform. So let's have a look. Firstly, one of the biggest factors is age, right? So you'll see a sort of trickle down effect when it comes to all the social medias. Facebook's been around the longest, so we'll have people that are slightly older, right? But as time goes on, everything does trickle down. So Facebook, I'd say if you're looking at targeting people that are between the age of 30 and 65, you want to be looking at Facebook, right? So maybe if you want to be looking at people that are looking at some things that are a little bit niche, that people in the age group that is slightly older would want to look at. So examples that we've had are, I don't know, maybe canvas prints for people, for sort of houses, things like that, luxury wallpaper that some of the artists that I've spoken to have designed, things like that. You'd be looking at wanting people, homeowners, right? And people that are a little bit later on in their journey with life. So you might want to look at Facebook, right? Then you've got something like Instagram, where Instagram's a very happy medium between the two. You've got people that are young on there as well. And you've got people that are slightly older as well, slightly more middle-aged. So Instagram can be a great in between for both of them. Okay. And then what you've got is you've got TikTok. TikTok right now, we are seeing people trickle down, but TikTok at the moment, for the majority of the consumers, is 16 to 35-year-olds, so a younger audience, and obviously the sort of content that you're going to be designing for a younger audience will differ compared to the content you'll be designing for Facebook, for example, right? And you'll find that all of these platforms, the consumers trickle down from, right? TikTok's the sort of latest and greatest one right now, which is really popular with the youth. But Instagram used to be at that point at some time, probably about 10 years ago, where that was the platform to 16 to 35-year-olds, right? And Facebook used to be 18 to 50-year-olds. But slowly people have trickled down from Facebook to Instagram, and then the people that were using Instagram, the youth has slowly trickled down to TikTok now. Okay, but like you can see, there is overlap between these platforms, but it's just about knowing which platform works the best for you. And what we've got Google Ads as well. Google Ads, we can say, is pretty much all ages, just because people are actively searching for the product, right? So Google, you can pretty much target everyone. So the next thing we want to look at is the customer journey. And I've sort of touched on this beforehand, where each of these platforms, the customer is wanting something different. So when you're looking at the digital marketing platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, the customer isn't actively looking for your service. So they don't have what we call buying intent. They're not going on that platform knowing that they want to buy something, but you're going to want to raise awareness to what you do as an arts and culture organization and as a creative organization, and really stop them in their tracks and make them think, oh, you know what, I'd really like to visit that gallery. Oh, you know what, that artist looks really good. I want to be looking at some of his work. So those things those things are very important when you're looking at how you're crafting the ads themselves, because if someone's got buying intent, they already know that they want to buy from someone. So you're just trying to make them aware that you're the best person to buy from, right? In comparison to if they're not aware that they want to buy at all, you're trying to make them aware that they they want to be buying from you, essentially. Okay, so with Facebook and Instagram, they're not aware, right? But they can also be retargeted, right? There's retargeting options on Facebook and Instagram where you can retarget customers that might have been to your website. So you're looking at an audience that might be slightly interested, but might not have bought tickets to an exhibition, right? So you can retarget them, give them a special offer, for example. Then you've got something like TikTok. And with TikTok, what you have is they aren't aware. They can be retargeting on TikTok, but in my experience, it doesn't work the greatest. So you want to be looking at, really, if you are retargeting, looking at Facebook and Instagram. Then we've got things like engagement. How do people actually engage with your ads? So you can get things like likes, comments, video views, profile visits on your platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And with those platforms, with those views and likes and comments, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, I'm not looking for engagement. I want people to buy my tickets, or I want people to come see the shows. I want people to come to the gallery. I want people to buy my artwork. All of those things, yeah, that's all understandable. But what you want is you still want people to be liking your ads. You still want people to be commenting on your ads or your content, because one, it lets Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok within their algorithm understand exactly what type of consumers want your product or are interested in your services. So it's important that you get those likes, comments, views, and profile visits, right? Secondly, you get awareness from it as well. So your brand name gets out there. Maybe the second or third time they see your organization, that's the time they're like, you know what, I've liked the stuff before. Let me buy something this time, right? And also, if you've got people commenting, it creates that trust. If you see an ad and there's plenty of people that have commented and there's discussions going on, then those comments really help build your trust and authority. And that's something that is great. So it's not always about selling things straight away. All of these metrics are very important. With Google Ads, there's very little engagement because someone's just clicking on your ad to get onto your website, right? So once they're getting onto your website, obviously it depends on what your website's like and what that landing page that they land on looks like, and that will sort of gauge the amount of engagement someone has, and when it comes to Google Ads. So let's look at interests and behaviors when it comes to those platforms. So how can you actually target interests and behaviors, and how easy is it to do so in those platforms? Because if we're creative organizations and we're cultural organizations, we want to be targeting specific types of people, or we might want to be targeting specific buying behaviors. And those are all things that we can do with most of these platforms. So Facebook, there's very specific targeting that you can look at, and you can target buying behaviors. And Facebook will start targeting those behaviors themselves as well, right? Because it's in Facebook, in Instagram, and TikTok, so all of these platforms, it's in their best interest to make your ad work, because they're selling ad space on their platform. right? And if that ad space is successful for you, you're going to spend more, and it means more profit for them. So it's important to understand that that's how the algorithm works, that Facebook wants you to be getting more customers, right? So you can spend more money on the platform. Instagram was the same, right? So with Facebook and Instagram, you can get pretty specific on the targeting if you'd like. TikTok is a lot more general. So you're not going to be targeting things like specific types of art that people are interested in, like you would be with Facebook and Instagram, right? With TikTok, it's a lot more general. And that's just what works with the platforms. And you can target watch interests on TikTok as well. So what people are watching, you can target that. So if people are watching specific hashtags, you can start targeting things like that as well. So it's important to understand that targeting. Google Ads, you have interest targeting, right? But it's a lot more sort of complicated in the idea that it all depends on the keywords that you're looking for. So if you're, for example, wanting to target couples, right, that's not going to be, it's not going to be an option within the ads manager itself where you target couples. It's going to be more something that you will keep in mind with the keywords that you're picking out for those ads to run on. So those keywords that you're looking at, you might say art exhibitions for couples, right? And that would be your way of targeting, but it is a little bit more sort of complicated rather than just searching for an interest and targeting that specifically. So hopefully you should be getting a bit of an idea what these platforms are like, what comparatively how they differ, and slowly be getting an idea of how you would go about paid advertising, which one of these platforms you'd be interested in looking at. So we've got a quick summary here of all the things that I've spoken about when it comes to audience comparison. All these things will be sort of sent to you. This presentation will be sent to you as well. So don't worry if you haven't been able to note down things. This table is here as a quick summary slide. Cost comparison. So cost is a huge thing, and we get asked this all the time. How much is it going to cost on each platform, right? So let's have a quick look. And what I've got here is the cost to start seeing results. And let me explain what this slide is showing, because it's not as simple as it looks. All right, so you can spend very little on each platform and get something out of it. But what I'm saying is this is the amount that you want to be looking at spending for you to see results from your campaign after they get out of their learning phases. As soon as you run a campaign, that campaign will go into what's called a learning phase, right? And it's going to be testing out different things. So with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it might be looking at certain consumers, right? Google Ads might be looking at certain keywords, right? Or certain variations of the keywords that you've put in. So it's important that we actually brace ourselves for how much we should be wanting to spend to start off with to actually get out of these learning phases. Because once we're out of these learning phases, that's when we'll actually start seeing the results that we're wanting to. This doesn't mean that we're not going to see results beforehand, but this is how much where if I was wanting to spend money on Facebook, I'd want to have a budget of about 500 to £1,000 within a quarter, right? So within a 3-month period, I'd want to set aside between 500 and £1,000 just to make sure that I'm actually giving the campaign enough money to run, right? It's the same thing as if you, for example, were running around giving leaflets, right? If you only delivered leaflets to one street, right, that one street might be customers that aren't actually looking for what you're offering them. But if you then persevered and sent leaflets out to the entire city, right, you're bound to find places where customers are wanting your service, right, or are wanting to buy your product. So it's important to actually have a big enough sample size within each of these platforms and actually give them a chance to run properly. Okay, and that's what these values are showing here. So with Facebook and Instagram, I'd say between 500 to £1,000 to actually get out of those learning phases, know exactly where you should be targeting, get out those testing phases, where you've got certain ads that you're looking at and have a look at and say, oh, you know what, they are running well, right? This ad creative or this ad copy, this first line works really well. Let's optimize it a little bit more. Let's make it a little bit better. Let's look at things which are very similar to this. And it's sort of like finding that street or that area within the city where your services work best. So you want to have that big sample size to begin with, then start narrowing down, and it'll be a lot easier for you to find the customers that you're looking for, right? And it'll be a lot cheaper as well. Then you've got TikTok, right? TikTok, you've got, I'd say, about £500 as well, but I've got £0 here also, right? So why have I said £0? Why have I said it costs nothing to start seeing those results? That's because with TikTok, it's unique in the way that you can have a brand new TikTok account, a normal social media account, and your first video has chances of going viral. TikTok makes it very easy for new creators to actually make content that works. And whereas with Facebook and Instagram, you'd be looking at spending that money to begin with within that ad campaign to see which ads are working, to see which creatives are working, what copy is working. TikTok, you can do that before actually even running the ads. So you can make videos and launch them for free and get out of those testing phases to start off with, just by releasing videos on your social media, right? You can do that for free. It takes time, it takes effort to make those videos, but you can do that for free. Once you can see which videos have worked, or which videos really resonate with your audience, then you can launch them as ads and then spend this money, and it'll work a lot better. And that's what I'd recommend with TikTok in the first place. I'd say if you're on TikTok, you don't want to be testing by spending money like you would with Facebook and Instagram. You want to be testing by running those videos as actual campaigns as actual social media posts on TikTok, right? Once you've done that, you can see what works, right? What starts to get views, then launch them as ads, and you can really sort of quickly skip that learning phase without spending that money to start off with. Okay. Then you've got Google Ads. Google Ads, you've got a bit of a range. You've got 400 to about £1,500, right? You can get results quicker, but it very much depends on how much or how expensive the keywords are that you're targeting. Some keywords can be 10 pence a click, depending on the amount of competition. I've also seen keywords which are about £15 a click, right? It completely depends on your sector, how much competition there is. But normally for arts and culture and creative organizations, it is much cheaper. So you're looking at £1 per click or much lower than that sometimes, where you're looking at 10, 15 pence. So it's all about getting enough people to your website where from there you can try and convert them. Okay, so I'd say look at having an idea of about £400 to £1,500, and this is a sort of quarterly estimate for how much you should be looking to spend. But the thing with paid advertising is, and this is a key point that everyone needs to remember, is with paid advertising, it shouldn't matter how much money you're spending, because ultimately you should be making more out of it. The key to paid advertising isn't saying that, okay, I've got a £500 budget, I just need to throw it at paid ads, right? It's looking at that and saying, look, I want to get this much back out of it, right? And it shouldn't make a difference. You should be able to have a positive return on ad spend, and whether you're spending £500, £2,000, £5,000, right? And I've worked with organizations and companies that are spending £15,000 to £20,000 a month on these platforms, right? And it doesn't matter to them, because they're ultimately seeing that money come back twofold or threefold. So it shouldn't matter how much money you're putting in. It depends on whether you've got a profitable campaign and it's giving that money back to you, right? And ultimately, if you're wanting to spend money and you're not getting the same money back, right, or you're making a loss, then that's a key sort of indicator to saying, okay, maybe we need to get someone in, or maybe we need to get some more advice, or maybe we really need to start looking at how we're running these paid ads. So hopefully that cost comparison sort of makes sense. And then the next thing that I'd look at is scaling. How easy is it to scale? How easy is it to go from getting 10 customers a month on one of these platforms to getting 1,000 customers a month or 100 customers a month? How easy is it to go from 10 people visiting your art gallery to 100 or 150? How easy is it? Is it just something where you increase your ad spend, right? Or do you have to put in a huge amount of work, right? And with Facebook and Instagram, they are very scalable, right? You can just increase your ad spend, and you are going to have to alter things here and there and test different things. But on a whole, they are very scalable, right? TikTok, in my opinion, is not as scalable, right? Just because it's not just about increasing the ad spend. Once you've shown certain videos to a variety of consumers, you will need to update that content, right? And it needs to be updated regularly, much more often and much more frequently than Facebook and Instagram. With TikTok, you're not going to want to run the same ads all year round. You will want to update them on a regular basis. Okay, and Google Ads, I'd say, is a little bit harder to scale, just depending on keywords, things like that. It is very doable, but it's just about how much time and expertise you have in running the actual ads through the platform, right? Because there are certain things that you'll have to do and make sure that you are getting the right keywords, and the keywords you're looking at, they have enough searches for you to be able to scale. So hopefully that all makes sense in terms of scaling and what scaling is as well, right? Then the next thing is optimization. So what do we really mean by optimization? So the way I like to think of it is being able to bring more people in, be able to get better results, right? For less effort or less money. So whether you're optimizing a process, right? That process might mean that it takes less effort to do something, right? And you can optimize things within your organization, and we do it all the time. But when it comes to digital marketing and optimization with digital marketing, you're looking at, can you get more people in? Can you get more people looking at your ads for a lower cost, right? So with Facebook and Instagram, costs can be brought down with optimization very easily. So once you start optimizing it by running the right ads, running and testing for the right creatives, right, you can start to actually bring the cost down a lot. Where, for example, I've run campaigns before where the first month it was costing me £30 a lead, right? £30 a customer. But then once I optimized, once I found the ads that work best, once I found the sort of lines that work best in the descriptions, I was able to bring that down to £5 a customer. Okay, so those things can make a huge difference, right? And because Facebook and Instagram, there's a huge amount of things that you can change, right? And work for you essentially. You can bring down the cost a lot with optimization. With TikTok, you're not going to see a huge amount of optimization that you can do. There's not a huge amount of things that you can change once you've got your video up there. That's why it's important to do the optimization beforehand. It's important to find the videos that work beforehand and then upload them, right? So once you're in the ads managers, there's much fewer options compared to Facebook and Instagram, right? And the same can be seen with sort of Google Ads. It can be optimized, but you're not going to see a huge cost decrease. So you might spend, to start off with, you might be spending £10 a customer, and that might half to maybe £5. But it's not going to be something where you're going to see that huge difference that you can with Facebook and Instagram. And that's it doesn't mean that Facebook and Instagram are better and they're gonna yield cheaper results. It might mean that ultimately each of those platforms will all result in a £5 customer for you, but it might just take there's more options Facebook and Instagram for you to maybe get there quicker or do more things to optimize that campaign compared to something like Google Ads. So hopefully that all makes sense, right? minimum spend's a huge thing as well. So Facebook, Instagram, and Google, there's no minimum spend, right? And that doesn't mean that you should spend very little amounts, right? If you're spending £1 a day, £2 a day, sometimes it doesn't really work that well, right? You want to be looking at those sort of budgets that I've been talking about here, where you're spending those over a quarterly season, right? Within a month or within a 2-month period. Okay. With TikTok, though, the platform doesn't let you advertise for less than $20 a day. So you need to be spending $20 per day, right? Whatever the equivalent for that is in pounds. But you need to be spending that $20 per day. If you're not, then it won't let you advertise, right? So that's even more sort of that's even more sort of recognition for why we should be looking at actually finding out what videos work on the platform to begin with, then looking at advertising with TikTok. So quick summary here. Again, this will be available to you after, and you can have a look at all of these things later on, right? Difficulty comparison. So how difficult are they to get into? So the time needed for setup, right? If you've never run a campaign before, how long will it take you to make that first campaign, to do it well, right? You can make any of these campaigns within 30 minutes, but how long would I recommend you spending to actually get that campaign to start off with, right? And I think it's important to be able to know how much time something should take, so you can allocate the time to actually learning it properly. So Facebook and Instagram, I'd say 10 to 20 hours, right? So spend between 10 and 20 hours making that first campaign, making the descriptions, making the images, right? And really exploring the platform, right? And this is for someone who's never seen any of these platforms before, okay? With TikTok, if you're not looking at content creation, you're just looking at creating the ad campaign, you're looking at probably about 5 hours, up to 5 hours it should take. But if you're looking at content creation, I would really spend the time looking at the content that you're making. And I'd say then you're looking at between 5 and 80 hours. Okay, so you really want to be spending time creating tens of videos where you're really testing what videos work. And if you've never used TikTok, it's a very different platform compared to other platforms you might have used in the past. There's a lot that goes into it with what are you saying in the first 5 seconds, right? How are you keeping people engaged within the video? The attention spans on all these different platforms are varying. With TikTok, you'll find that people have very short attention spans. So if you don't grab their attention within the first 5 seconds, they're not going to be interested. So it's important to spend that time in content creation, right? Google Ads, I'd say 15 to 40 hours. You want to spend a good amount of time doing keyword research, and then a good amount of time actually crafting those headlines, crafting those descriptions, okay? Maintenance time, how much maintenance would I say you want to require per week, right? And sometimes people don't maintain them at all.
No, just to jump in and interrupt you, we've got 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how you want to just wrap it up.
We're just finishing off. We're just finishing off. So let me just get through the slide and we're just finishing off. So yeah, very quickly, we've got 48 hours on Facebook and Instagram, and then TikTok and Google Ads, I'd say 1 or 2 hours per week, right? So is your audience young? I'd say maybe look at these platforms. I'm just going to whiz through these because I'm conscious of time. If they're not, I'd say Facebook and Google Ads. Are people actively searching for your product? I'd say Google Ads to start off with. Are people actively searching for your product or service? Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok? If they're not, right? If you've got very little experience, don't worry, try them all out, right? It doesn't mean that if you've got no experience, you can't use them at all, okay? So definitely have a look at all of them. If you're a museum, I'd say maybe start off with Instagram and Google Ads to start off with. Canvas prints, for example, I'd say Instagram or Google Ads. Dance studio, I'd say Instagram, TikTok, or Google Ads. And yeah, we'll do the Q&A if we've still got time. I'm not sure how we're looking, James. So we've still got, I know we've run over a little bit, but if we've still got time, we can answer a few questions.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got to wrap it up at 3, so we've got literally 30 seconds. But
yeah,
just to let everybody know, the slides that we've got available, we've shared them in the chat already. So you can look through everything that Mo shared there. Mo is available if you'd like to talk more in detail with about all these things that he's talked through today. We're here to help. I know a lot of it's hard to talk about all of these things in context to the unique organization that you have. But chatting to us will get it nailed for exactly the right amount of money, the right platform, all those things. Thank you for all the questions that we've had in the Q&A. Apologies that we've not had time to get to them. What we're going to do is Mo's going to look through all those questions, and then we're going to include some of the responses in the email that we send you and the resources as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you everyone for coming.
No, thank you, everybody.